Nice to have you on to hear the show because I want to learn something from you here. So first, I guess before we get into the Phil talk and the bankruptcy talk and all that, I guess we should ask why should we trust you? How do you know so much about this topic here, Kay?
Oh, sure. Um, well, I've been pretty much detracting on our good friend Phil since the Project 7 incident. I had been a fan of his. I'm a little bit older than most detractors. I'm in my 40s, and I had contributed to him. I thought he was funny. Um, but after the Project 7 incident, after he took money from viewers, from people who believed in him, and then just ran off with the money, um, I found the group, the SOK. I wasn't a part of SOK. I just watched them, found them funny, and the detractor community actually really embraced me. They were opening, they were welcoming, and that's how it kind of started. A lot of them, um, welcomed me on Twitter, and that's kind of where I've remained. I don't go into, say, detractor video chats all that often. I see friends there, but I don't, actively detract that way.
Oh, okay, cool. So it's obviously a very common story of that. The Project 7 being the turning point. I've heard that before for sure. So yeah, so how do what kind of obviously you heard just so I guess people don't know what's going on with Phil here is clearly even though he's not mentioning it, he has been sued by the bank, right? The bank is suing him for the money that he is not paying, even though. Sorry, the bank. Sorry, maybe you explain the situation better, right? Do you know
Sure,
exactly? Yeah, you go for it.
sure. So basically, what's happening is the bank is foreclosing on Phil's Connecticut condo. What a foreclosure is, in case people don't know, it is when you don't pay your mortgage, the bank says, we want our money, we want what is in arrears, or we will take the property. It's basically a demand to come current. If he doesn't come current, they will then get a second order, which is the repossession of the property. If anyone has seen the multiple posts, I know James has posted it. Agent Proper has. It's even gone out to folks such as Frederick. I can't pronounce his last name. Kunsen, I think it is. He did the Down the Rabbit Hole on Phil, and he's even posted the foreclosure notice. This notice here that has been going around. This is the demand to pay the arrears. He must come current on his mortgage. If he does not, then they get a second order. The second order is the repossession of the property. Phil doesn't even get involved in that. He can come current at any time before they take the property. Once they take the property, he can't get it back.
Okay, so I guess the few questions here would be start for starters. Here is what is the downside? Because remember he's talked about this after he went to his parents' house during earlier in the year. He said he admitted I'm not going to pay the condo. He said I'm not going to pay the condo, so let it go. I'm going to do bankruptcy and then just hopefully that'll help it. Now is that a strategy that will work? What's the negative to
Yes.
doing this?
Okay, so it's a very time sensitive thing he's in. Once they get the order to repossess the property, what happens after the repossession is the bank then attempts to auction the property for the arrearage, which is approximately $101,000 according to the notice. They are not going to be able to sell that property for $101,000 in the area of Bridgeport, Connecticut right now. They can't do it. The property values are low there right now. This could be considered as like a strategic foreclosure. The house is so far underwater. In other words, his mortgage is higher than what the property is worth. It was a part of the whole housing bubble bursting, and he got into it. Unfortunately, that was none of his doing. He may have raced to purchase a condo, but um, it wasn't really that honestly was not his fault. It wasn't his fault that he purchased the condo and then that condo went underwater due to property values decreasing. So they're going to get at most $50,000 for this house. At most. I don't really, it's been abandoned virtually for about 6 years now. No one's been taking care of it. There's probably problems with it. So in the realm of probably at auction might be $25,000 they might get for it.
Okay, so then that
What
leaves
happens
75,000 left on the table.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. So basically what happens after that is the bank will then come after Phil for the difference. And they come after him in another lawsuit. There's a lot of lawsuits that happen during this. What Phil will have to do is when they come after him for the 75,000 and before they get an order to take whatever they can from him, i.e. his current house, which I call the Patreon Palace, the house in Washington, they could come after his bank accounts, anything he got from Twitch, YouTube, tips, come after his PayPal. They could come after all of that if they successfully sue him. He needs to declare bankruptcy before that happens, before they start taking that, but after the order is made for him to pay them. It's a very, very slim window for him to declare bankruptcy in. Now, that's why he needs a very good lawyer, a very good bankruptcy lawyer. They will tell him how to proceed through this and will file the paperwork at the right times for this to be successful for him.
Now, do you think that he's obviously, because to the layman that don't know all these rules, and I know you have some education background in finance, so you know this stuff, but do you think he already got some kind of advice about this to know this is the best way to do it? Because I don't think a normal person would know this is a good, strategy, right?
Yeah, I would think that any person, he is educated in finance. He has a business degree.
As we've heard before,
yeah. I mean, he graduated from Fairfield University and with a degree in finance.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he says his business degree is, and we have seen the diploma of him actually graduating, so it's real. With a degree in finance.
Okay, so that's where he knows this strategy from then.
It's possible. I've never seen him actually use the business strategy. I've never seen him use any business strategy that would make any kind of logical sense. But he must get a very good bankruptcy lawyer right now, because the strategy would be declare bankruptcy, have that wipe out the 75K right off the jump. It wipes out his credit card debt. It wipes out anything. Now, his problem in bankruptcy is another thing. That's why he really needs a good lawyer, is because there's two types of bankruptcy. There's Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. Chapter 7 is where you liquidate everything. You sell everything you can except for your house, at one house, one car to go to work, and tools of the trade. Tools of the trade being if you are a tradesman, craftsman, something like that, or possibly in his case, his gaming things. Probably his computer, PlayStation, that kind of stuff. It's not going to mean anything towards the $75,000 debt, but they, in theory, could come after that. He needs that bankruptcy lawyer to protect the house, the car, and his possessions. Once all of that is liquidated, it goes to the debt, whatever they can get for it. The problem is it has a limit of how much you can make. And currently, in the state of Washington, I read on several websites, the limit of earning is $66,000 for a two-member household. He makes more than that. I don't care what the people lie about. Without YouTube, he makes about $50,000 a year just off of Twitch, just what is visible on Twitch. Tips, bits, cheers, subs, all that stuff going through Twitch, $50,000 before YouTube. He makes more than $16,000 a year off of YouTube. Yeah, he makes at least 2 million views a year off of his old content. It's not off the new content, but he has so many videos that it just amasses massive amounts of views.
Yeah, he's still picking up about let's look at last month real quick. Yeah, he's still picking up. Oh well, about $1 million. It was $2 million, but look, it took a big dip in September to $1 million, around $1 million a month though. So that's still some 2,000 a month for sure in cash, right? So
Easy.
yeah.
Very easy.
So that's true. Okay, so he's above that threshold. Then what happens?
Then what happens, he must declare Chapter 13, which is a payment plan that the court orders him to pay. If he does not pay that, then they come after everything of his. He is no longer protected. His house is not protected. His car is not protected. Nothing is protected at that point.
Okay, so that's obviously what do you, if you know, what kind of a payment plan, what kind of percentage are we talking about of the debt that he owes, which should be around, let's just say it's 75,000 he has left to pay. What would he have to pay? Is it a month? You got to pay $750 or what? Yeah, is it 750?
It would be monthly. I could not say because we don't know exactly what he brings in monthly.
Yeah.
He would have to reveal all of his income sources to the court.
Okay, they make a decision based
also,
on that.
by the way, that becomes public domain.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just going to say that.
Okay, Kiwi Farms perks up right now.
Kiwi Farms, please. Check out your the docket on that because it will become public information.
Wow.
He's going to be terrified of that because court documents.
Mm-hmm.
It's all public.
So this is a recap real quick. Phil's obviously the strategy that he got somehow from either advice, his own knowledge. Somehow he said, okay, I'm going to not pay the condo. It goes to the courts. Then eventually they're going to auction it off, not make enough money, then come for the rest.
Yes.
When they come for the rest, the timing has to be correct. Lawyer have to get a good lawyer, but then you declare bankruptcy, and basically your life doesn't change except you might have to pay for this payment plan, right?
Correct. Now, another thing that happens in that bankruptcy, his credit's shot now. I would estimate him probably around a 400 to 500 credit score, which is lousy. He will dip to the lowest possible point. When he declares bankruptcy, he will be at the lowest possible credit, which I believe is 250, might be 200. It is low. He will be in the cellar. No one will grant him credit. I don't even think a loan shark would give this guy credit. It will be bad.
Mm-hmm. So
the problem with there's another. I'm sorry to ramble, but when he gets his credit that low, his current mortgage company will look at that credit score and go, "Oh my God, he's got one foreclosure already. What's going to happen to us? I don't want the housing bubble to burst." If he has an adjustable rate mortgage, that rate's going to go up. His credit cards will look at his credit and say, "We don't want to lend to you anymore." They may call in the debt. They rarely do off of a credit score, but they could increase his interest rates. They could cut his line of credit.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Wow. So that's all. So if he does the bankruptcy, that would be the real negative then, right? There's no change of lifestyle.
It's both It's both the foreclosure and the bankruptcy will both just tank his credit. His credit will be ruined for about 7 to 10 years. Having both of those on your credit, it is disastrous. It will be hard to get certain jobs. He does have a finance degree. If he were to try to even get a job, say as a bank teller, he would never be able to get that job. Some jobs in sales require a credit check. He would never get those jobs. Try to rent an apartment, couldn't do it because he would fail the credit check. He would have to give such a massive deposit on it. He may get an apartment, but it's so disastrous.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, the only other option is to sell the Patreon Palace.
Okay, sell Patreon Palace in Seattle. Then that would be, let's say, I'm not sure how much. I've never seen the house. It seems nice on the inside though. So it's
about $350,000. Its current value is around $350,000.
Okay, so then you sell that. Let's say you get $350,000 for it. Then you could pay off. Well, no, you wouldn't do that, right? So then you could get a nice small house though in cash. Maybe some parts of the America.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you'd be fine. Okay.
And he would be floating perfectly fine if he reins in his spending. He would be able to do rather decently for the duration of his credit being so poor while he works his credit up. That would be, in my opinion, the wise strategy. The problem is this man's pride. His pride is making him say, "Oh, I just want to, I just want to keep this house. I'm going to keep this house no matter what." It's this monument to his ego.
Yeah. That's, Phil, for me, it's what's so fascinating is how he chooses to, give him credit for one thing is he's so set in his ways, no matter how wrong those ways are. There's no changing him at all. But I've got to know. I want to ask you again. I have you on here, and you know about this stuff. He is clearly his strategy is not talking about the foreclosure at all. He's saying don't believe the bullshit. He streamed today was saying he set that two grand Christmas goal, whatever. He said don't believe the bullshit. There's nothing. Clearly, he's not mentioning it at all, and probably will not mention it. So is there some reason that he might be able to mention it legally? Like they could say don't talk about it. His lawyer might say that or something.
There's really nothing that others could do to him. I mean, pretty much what Kiwi Farms did they dox him? Yeah, but it is public domain. So you look up this guy in a public record search, this comes up. It's iffy, and I guess the legalities of it, but it's out there. He can't deny it. So all he can do is pick the small conversations that people have. So you look at James, you look at Agent Proper, you look at oh God, what's his name, Tevin. You look at all of these people on YouTube because that's where he seems to pay attention to is YouTube. He goes and looks at all that and picks them apart. He's like, look at this bullshit. Look at this. And it's a distraction technique to tear focus away from the fact that the documents are released. The talk is out there and it's going on Twitter and it's getting the attention of people he may not want to get the attention of. I mean, he already has Kiwi Farms' attention. But now he's got people, who kind of chronicle him. I kind of like putting myself more in the chronicler category than like active detracting.
Yeah, me too. I like to follow. I like to follow it. I don't like to bring someone down very much. I like to follow what he's doing. Yeah. That's what's interesting for me.
Yeah, I mean, I actually do want to see Phil succeed. I do want to see him, do well. I would be more than happy if he did well, if he treated his fans well, and Phil wasn't Phil, but yeah. I would love to see the man succeed. I really would. I never wanted, said that I don't, I want this, guy in a gutter or something. No, I want him to live a very happy life with his wife and his cat and just have a great time. But his pride is getting in the way of that. His pride got in the way of the direct capture thing. It got in the way of the green screen thing. It got in the way of everything, of him bettering himself.
I think some people misconstrue what those changes he doesn't want to make, like you mentioned, direct capture and stuff. I think it's really a pride thing in that he thinks what he's doing is the best thing. So changing that would not be good for his career, right? He thinks he's not because he does. I don't think it's a laziness thing at all. I think it's just he thinks what he's doing is the best and doesn't want to change that. You know what I mean? Like I really don't think laziness is part of it.
I think it's part of it each. I think laziness is playing a part in his drive to say I'm right because he is so set in the way. I mean, you look at how he's taken from his YouTube audience, and this audience is giving him in ad revenue thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars a year, and he still produces on YouTube, and he says it's an archive. It's not. It's an income generating source. He took away DSP tries it. That people are clamoring for. People want to see this guy eat fast food for some reason.
yeah.
So give the fans what they want. Give them a DSP tries it once a month. Go to Burger King or whatever. Eat a sandwich. And it costs you $10 and maybe an hour of time once a month for your fans. He won't do that. That's a laziness thing. And he will make 1,000,001 excuses why he doesn't want to do it. But it's laziness.
I guess the last question I want to ask about, and the documents are out online. If you could see them everywhere, if you look on, Detractor Twitter, you can find them. There's one thing that said $15,000 he has to pay. Like they were demanding $15,000 for something. Did you see that one? Maybe I can find it for you.
Yes,
what exactly is that? Does that matter or anything?
Okay, so the $15,000 is what he is behind right now. That to me seems like a very large figure um, for a foreclosure. Usually foreclosures take about 5 to 6 months to get to this point. So 15,000 seems awfully high to me from the document that I saw. So, but that's what they're demanding he pay in order to come current.
Okay.
That would be, $5,000 a month. That doesn't seem right. So what I'm thinking is that's the fees for their lawyers to get involved, do all the research on him, and file this court document. I believe those are, late fees, collection fees, etc.
Okay. Okay. I guess what kind of timeline are we talking about here? If this goes, let's say it goes along to Phil's plan and think that he doesn't file bankruptcy, what kind of timeline does that take? Is it take a year? Does it take 2 years? What
No,
are we looking at?
no, it's going to take for the foreclosure. It's a matter of months away. That foreclosure is likely going to happen before April. And I say April for a reason because that's when his taxes are due. He is in a very big pickle about that, but I'll leave that to another day.
Yeah.
What happens then is it can take a few months for them to attempt the auction. They're going to put it up for auction. It'll likely be like on the courthouse steps along with other homes in the area that are being foreclosed on. It's not going to be like how you see in the movies, like at Happy Gilmore, you see them off the house. They say, I want this house. I'm going to save the house. It's nothing like that. They're on the courthouse steps or even in the courthouse itself. They say, hey, anybody want to buy this house for $100,000? No one says anything. Okay. Then what happens is the house then belongs to the attorneys who put the house up for auction. Then they will attempt to sell it for whatever they can get. They'll put it on the market, get what they can. It'll take several months for that. So his bankruptcy is going to be within a year. If
I keep saying last question, but I have one more question. I want to know why isn't he using this? It seems like this would be a good opportunity to get more money, right? But he's going with the tax angle as he always does every year. I need tax for the end of the year stuff. To get I can't pay all throughout the year because I don't have the money. I'm always behind. He always uses this angle, but isn't this a great opportunity? Seems like to get those pay pigs to pay up. It's just speculation, I know, but what do you think?
No, it's not, and this is why. If he comes up with the 15 grand, he still owns that house. He wants to get rid of it. He's already committed to the foreclosure. The foreclosure's happening. That's where I think I see a lot of detractor Twitter saying, he owes 15 grand. He's asking for this, he's asking for the taxes, but it's really to save this house. He's not trying to save it. It's going away. He's trying to get the money because the April taxes are going to be hell on him. And this is why the taxes are going to be so bad. He already is on one payment plan with the IRS for back taxes. He can't go on a second payment plan.
Interesting. Okay.
So the bankruptcy is going to be very interesting for how this timeline rolls out with the taxes, the bankruptcy, the foreclosure. All of that is going to hit him, I believe, March to April. He's not going to say word one about that. He'll say, yeah, there's documents out there. So what? Move on. He's going to skim over that because really the foreclosure doesn't matter. It's happening. That's not the bad part. The bad part's going to be when these taxes hit in April. He's got to pay for his tax guy, an accountant, an attorney, whatever he's using. I think he's using like something like H&R Block. I don't think I think he's using like a mall quality tax preparer. And frankly, this guy needs a real account. But he's going to do that. He's going to try his damnedest to come up with whatever tax money is. He owed something like $12,000 last year. And with his pay pigs and with his mommy, he got enough to get on the payment plan. I think he needed like 10,000 to get on it or something like that. But he got enough to get on this payment plan. Then he's on this payment plan. This is in addition to his other bills.
Basic bills?
So, yeah, the basic bills. They're so basic bills, but he winds up saying he's bringing in all these other things, buying new video games. He could just get like, Xbox Ultimate Premium, whatever the hell that thing is. He'd be playing the free games he gets with PSN. He has plenty of games to play. He doesn't need the new ones. No one comes to his streams for the new stuff.
Well, yeah, that thing has
He
been there
could save
forever.
money.
That's the one thing he's thought for 10 years now. Is like he has to be playing the
Yeah,
next games.
that's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. It's not what it was 10 years ago, where he needed to play the newest games to get that search ranking on YouTube. He doesn't get that on Twitch. His pay pigs come to him because they are fans. People, and then the other people come at him to laugh.
Mm-hmm. And really, what he gets the biggest views are during these kind of drama things he sets up. Like I think there's definitely a strategy to what he does. I mean, he's not. I know he does some stupid things, but I think he's not stupid. I think he knows how to get the most he can, and so he kind of has these little episodes. Tevin always says like the summer arc or the winter arc. He sets these up. I'm for sure. I'm pretty sure of that. But, anyways, it was really nice talking to you. Thanks for sharing your information. For sure,
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
I'll definitely put this on YouTube. But where can we find you if we want to find you online? Check out more of your stuff.
If you ever want to see me, I'm thyri, THYRI, on Twitter.
There you go.
Very simple.
Thanks
I'm
so
not
much.
on YouTube or anything.
Okay, thanks so much for your time. And yeah, maybe we'll talk around in the future when we get more information about see how this situation progresses here.
Definitely.
Have a good one.
It's a pleasure. Take care.